Welcome to the No Quit Living podcast, where Monday through Thursday, we will bring you bite-sized episodes to help inspire, motivate, and encourage you to crush your day. Whatever today brings you, make sure you bring your best.
Welcome to episode number 460 of the No Quit Living podcast. I'm your host, Christopher J. Worth, and today's theme of the day is cold plunge. Since the week of Thanksgiving back in November of last year, I've been using my cold plunge every single day unless I happen to be traveling for work. Two of my good friends who happen to be brothers, Sean and Kevin Degnan, actually introduced me to the actual physical cold plunge that I bought off of Amazon, and I'm glad that they did. I want to be very clear that this podcast episode is not coming from a medical point of view. I'm not a doctor, nor am I pretending to be one on today's episode. I'm giving you my own personal opinion now that I've been using my cold plunge for a little bit over 2 months. I'm not giving any medical advice, nor am I suggesting what you should or shouldn't do when it comes to cold therapy. I'm not sure if I legally need to say this, but just in case, you should consult your physician before starting any diet, exercise, or cold plunge regimen. Over these past 2 months, my cold plunging experience has been incredibly challenging, both physically and mentally. It's also been extremely cold. As we're in the middle of the winter in the Northeast, we've had rain, freezing rain, and multiple days of snow and a huge amount of ice. My cold plunge, which happens to be located outside of my deck, I remember when I first filled it up the very first time, and because it does not have a cooling system, I wasn't sure if it was going to stay cold enough in the months of November, December, January. But since then, the water temperature has ranged from a high of 46 degrees to a low of 26 degrees. So I can say that the coldness is no longer a concern of mine. The physical challenge has been just as hard as the mental challenge. And every single day in the morning when I'm about to get in, I don't really want to get in the cold water. But I do feel great once I get out, and cold plunging has really had a positive impact on me, both mentally and physically. I typically stay inside the cold plunge anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes, and I try to stay submerged with my entire body and arms under the water right up to my neck. The first 30 seconds for me are always the hardest. During that time, it's when I battle those internal demons and listening to myself tell myself I should get out, it's too cold, 5 seconds was enough, 10 seconds was enough. But if I have to be honest, I think every single time that I've gotten in the tub, I battle with those conversations for the first 30 seconds. But once I get past those 30 seconds, that's the time when I'm usually pretty good to go. I was talking to a friend a couple of weeks ago, and he asked, or maybe even hinted, that over these past 2 months, the cold plunging has gotten easier for me. But if I have to be honest, it hasn't. And I think that has been one of the best lessons I've learned. Some days the water is a teeny bit warmer than the prior day, while other days it happens to be 5 or 10 degrees colder. But regardless of the temperature or fluctuation, it has not gotten easier. I've gotten better and stronger dealing with the physical and mental elements. As we conclude today's episode, I would like to challenge you to think about something you are struggling with right now, whether it is physical or mental. I encourage you to keep going. My support won't make it easier, but if you can get past your initial 30 seconds, I bet you can make it further. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start if you want to be great at anything.
Thank you for listening to the No Quit Living podcast. We would truly appreciate it if you could please subscribe to our show and leave us a rating. For those of you that have shared our episode with others, we can't thank you enough, as it helps us continue to build our brand and reach a much wider audience. Thank you for being a part of our No Quit tribe. I hope you crush your day, and remember, we rise by lifting others up.